This video is an introduction on how to use Jake's device that he affectionately calls Green. In order to use the device in the classroom, the only thing a teacher really needs to know is that the device speaks for Jake. So it may look daunting to have a kid walk into a classroom and have a device, and maybe you're not feeling technologically savvy and you say, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to work with it. That's fine. It really is just a way for him to speak, and he does know how to use the device, and he knows how to use it very well. He'll occasionally get hung up on not knowing where a word is or something like that, but for the most part, he's able to just use the device, and your role in that is encouraging him to use it, and then also just giving him opportunity, I think. So to quickly introduce the device so that you'll understand what this video and future videos talk about, the device is made up of two main components where the buttons are. This component right here in the blue area where the mouse pointer is moving, that's called the activity row, and then down below is what's called the core page. Anytime Jake uses the device, it's going to start out looking just like this. If it doesn't, he'll know how to fix it, but just in case, if it doesn't, let's say it looks like this when he starts, there should always be a button in the activity row that says core that would take you right back. If the activity row just doesn't happen to look the way you expect it to with Jake's little smiling face on there, you'll just simply click on activity until it does return to that. And there you'll see Jake's smiling little face standing in front of a tree, and you'll always know that that's where you start. What I'm using is just an emulator on my computer, but this is an exact replica of what Jake sees on his device. I copy it on here pretty regularly. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to tell you where something is or how to turn something off or on or whatever you might need. There's really very little reason to customize the device. Everything that he needs to be able to say, he should be able to say off of these two, off of this one screen. But if there is something that needs to be added, please feel free to send me an email or give me a call and let me know, and I will be happy to talk to Jake. We like Jake to have ownership of the device, so if something needs to be added, I'd like for him to select where it would be added so that it would be something that would make sense to him as he's using it. So what you might do, and what we've seen teachers do in the past, is just set him up and allow him the opportunity to answer with the device in class. So let's say you're talking about favorite colors, and you might say, I'm going to go around the room and ask everybody your favorite color. Jake, can you go ahead and get ready to answer that question? What Jake would do is he would simply go to the I button, and he would say something like, I like. He'd go over to the color button over here, and he'd say green. That would set up the device, and then when you got to him, he would simply click right up here where those words are, and the device would speak, I like green. So he has absolutely the capability of answering those questions in class. He just might need a little bit of time to get set up to answer those questions in class. Another thing that you might see Jake doing is up here on the activity row, there's a lot of pre-programmed things. So underneath the me button specifically is where you'll find a lot of things like my name is, I live here, my phone number, my birthday. So I know last year a police officer came into class and asked, does everybody know their phone number? Jake absolutely could have answered that just by going to the me button off the activity row and then selecting my phone number. Another item that's also off this me button is this picture of the device right here, and this actually is a way for Jake to explain what the device does to other kids in class. So this says, this is green and it helps me speak. So if somebody were to come up to Jake and say, what is that you're carrying around, he would be able to just quickly go to that button and then say, this is green and it helps me speak. And he would be able to pretty much advocate for himself in explaining what this device does for him. On that activity row, you'll also notice that there is the notebook button. So I went to activity and then I selected notebooks. And last year we were using these notebooks for him to do a lot of his written work in class. I'll make a separate video that explains that more in detail, but Jake should know how to use those notebooks perfectly fine. And I'll also make a video that shows how to print those out so that that work can be printed for him if he needs to put it into a notebook or somewhere else. So I think that's the majority of what you need to know. If Jake is working with this, I would always encourage that he makes sentences. So it would be very easy for you to say, You know, Jake, what's your favorite color? It would be very easy for him to go here and just say green, but I would encourage him just to get the practice to do something, have him say something like, I like green. Can he make it into a full sentence? I realize that there's only so much time in class, but I will just say he's very, very capable of making complete sentences on the device. So if you can encourage him to do that. Please let me know what questions you have. And again, just a quick introduction to what the parts of the device are and essentially what you need to know to allow him to use the device in class.